Resonance with Akindara. Welcome home, soul family. Welcome home, my love, dearest love. Welcome to the Roar and Resonance podcast community. We are so happy for you to join us on this episode today. And on this episode, I want to talk about this current shedding that we are going through, that I am going through, that I know members who are connected to me in our soul family are going through. And so with that said, to this episode, it feels to be like, let's be gentle. Let's be gentle with ourselves. Let's be gentle with one another. And my name is Akindara. You may have known me as Sally. I am fully embracing my soul's name and my soul's mission and this identity. So I will be going forward known as Akindara. Hello, my love. I'll be your fellow cosmic journeyer. I am here riding alongside you. And I am here to learn with you. I'm here to be with you. So, and the path has been pretty interesting, to say the least. And you'll probably hear me say this a lot in this season that we're in, right? So this next 3-month cycle of June, July, and August, as the summer, if you're in the northern hemisphere, is like the summer of the down and in, the nesting, the ripening, feeling the depths, right? That means feeling the depths of emotions, and even emotions that we don't necessarily want to feel, such as sadness and grief. And if you've been following me thus far, you'll know that within Roar and Resonance, we talk about the this and that, all part of unity consciousness, right? This love for both, right? Recognizing that the up and out, the rise into the heights of consciousness is just as beautiful as diving into the depths and the down and into the depths of who we are, and all of which are essentially two sides of the same coin, right? Two sides of the same source, two sides of truth. And there is pleasure and joy and celebration in both, right? That and that's not to say that it's not easy. That is not to say that it's a rainbow and sunshine roses, which, funny enough, I've referred to this place, like, as I said, nesting, right? So I thought, nesting, down and in, I'm good. That means rainbows, sunshine is perfect. But what I'm beginning to learn, right, that the uncomfortable feeling of shedding, right, the snake having to, like, be in the right environment, right, in safe space, having to have the right material, rocks or things that it has to grade upon, so that it can fully shed this old layer, so that it can grow out of this old skin. And I've been getting a lot of images about pearls and snakes and dragons, and like this, it just reiterates the shedding aspect, this releasing aspect. And the same thing, like a pearl that's being created, right? That an oyster doesn't even know that it's creating a pearl. And the pearl goes through a series of, it's almost like this irritation that happens, right? This layers that are added upon it that scratches. I'm not really sure about the biology here, but like it's through this friction is what I'm getting at. It's like through this friction that something beautiful emerges, right? And what I find, with nesting in safe space is that, you can be a beautiful rose. You can be this beautiful looking animal. And I had an image of if you know it, a mantis ray. They're super beautiful, but they pack a punch, right? So it's to also say that you can sit comfortable. It looks beautiful. You're sitting, you're nesting. But hey, if somebody is going to encroach onto your boundaries, you bite back. Right? You'll defend your territory. You defend because you know deep down that you are nurturing something very beautiful. You are creating new life. You are birthing maybe an idea, a desire. You have a big mission that you are birthing, right? Just as a mother bird is protecting her eggs, because what she's protecting is another legacy, a legacy of us that can be carried forth so that this bird, this animal doesn't die of extinction, right? They always say like a mother's instinct is something that is so in tune, I feel, to Mother Earth, so vibrant, and Mother Earth, Gaia, is not only vibrant, but also powerful, right? Earthquakes, tsunamis, like these catastrophic events that tear human lives apart, animal lives apart, just the world apart, is like there's this violent part to it too. So there's this gentleness, and then there's a violent piece. So I guess all of this is to say too is that this moment that we're going through, it's not easy, to say the least. And also to recognize like you can sit, you can be beautiful, you can sit and enjoy the pleasure of nesting, and you can also, doesn't mean that you can be you don't need to let anybody walk all over either. You don't need to let people encroach on your boundary, because I feel like, personally for me, I feel that if I were to let anybody to just push their way through when I know exactly what I want right now is to like stay within the space, stay within me, and somebody just wants to like push back past my boundary, it just simply feels like another violation. So, and another re-injuring of my nervous system. So in this instance, as just as it is uncomfortable, it is building my capacity to feel the depths and the fullness of the human experience. And what all right. I am presently sitting with my grief and my sadness around a situation that in general is uncomfortable for all parties. It's uncomfortable for all parties involved, and in general it's just sadness all the way around. And I'm presently learning how to sit with my grief and my sadness to allow her to come in more deeply. And before that, I was trying to rationalize and maintain like the status quo, keep in peace. But by doing that, it created such a dissonance within me. It just created a space where like I wasn't advocating for myself. I wasn't standing up for myself. And in turn, I'm not standing up for the piece of myself that wants to feel could be rage, could be rage and sadness and grief. So as I am talking and as I am expressing myself, as I am sitting with myself and sitting with these emotions, she's coming out more. Me and my grief and my sadness is showing up more as it is right now. And in a sense, like I feel like there's this gentleness that is being called forth. Like it is an abrasive process. However, there is a call for just being gentle. There's this call to surrender. There's this call, an invitation, an offering to be kind to ourselves during this process, and to also stand. This is part of standing within our power, right? Being a sovereign being is to recognize what exactly that we need to do. How do we hold the line, right? How do we double down for safe space, for sacred space? And And that conversation might not be easy. There's conversations or actions that you want to take, and it's not easy to do them. So it's like taking a moment to be in a place where you can make decisions or say things that is coming from a sovereign place. Like how to do that, and to best do that, right? The best guiding factor to do that is to lean within ourselves. Yeah. And I just released first time doing this, like an Instagram reel of myself, my face out there. And just to share a little light language to offer us space, a space to be witnessed, to be supported. And I will also bring that here as well for all of you guys who don't have Instagram or social media, but have YouTube, Spotify. So let's take a moment. Let's take a moment to ground ourselves into the grid and to feel the weight of just how each and every single breath we begin to sink deeper into our own body, our own vessel, but also to sink into our chair, our vehicle, or anything that we are presently in. So just take a deep breath. And I keep seeing the ocean. I keep seeing water. And with that, I'll be calling in, not even me calling them in. It's more that they are choosing to come forward right now. Some Lemurian star mothers. Okay. I shall begin. Sorry, I get it. Shedrukusuno emirekarshta. Ereskudirtina kerestu svireti brazershkude arastu erakaratiaka. Misurutukiyayera asuyeren idishkede erasue kerestue mirestuguenaratke. My child, we are here with you. We cradle you in our arms so that you can feel the depth of these emotions that you have been pushing away or dissociating from. We are here to witness you. We are here to hold you. We are here to carry your tears, your pain, your suffering. We are here to witness your discomfort. We are here to witness your vulnerabilities. Nerukui saratia jetike aerotoe. Meratia kairatakasharatia saroe katia te korusue merashtakea saratia. Surutukia iratia. Allow yourself to fall deeper into these emotions, knowing. Allow yourself to hear what we are speaking, knowing and trusting that you have come a very long way. You have come from so much devotion, healing, remembrance. So trust in the network that you have created. Trust in yourself. Trust that you may lean now into this network that you have created, my love, my child, my dearest one. Surutukia ira kajitkana osoya. Ratikia ira kutui yishkrati yasana ehikarana. Merue kurukue na akuru tusuena ratikashra eserotoya. And take a deep breath and allow yourself to just fall within the waters. Trust the water, trust Mother Gaia, trust that you are here. Trust gravity, trust us. And we are complete. Thank you. Just taking a deep breath to recenter ourselves and coming back to our body, coming back to our vessel. Wiggle your toes and your fingers and just take some really deep, long breaths to honor yourself for being here. And so let's just take a moment. And I find it today's the day of Saturn. And anybody who's gone through a Saturn return or have yet to go through a Saturn return or just simply know and have worked with Saturnian energy, you know that it is working with karmic energy, right? Working with past, with patterns, limiting beliefs. It's like talk about digging into the depths, right? And it's interesting how like we know that's all happening, right? That's all happening underneath, maybe even consciously or even unconsciously. And then here I am coming in and like, okay, counterbalance. Let's, as my beautiful teacher and friend Kirsten would say, like counterbalance. Right, so here we're counterbalancing with ease, and how can we invite in more ease, more joy, more pleasure into this process? So I pulled some oracle cards to us to they're more like encouragement. So I asked, they're like coming in more as like gentle notes, gentle like nudges into maybe certain directions. So kind of like a mother, like a mother pruning a little chick, or just like cleaning up the nest. So this is like us doing that. So let's see. I have you're already doing it. Stop overthinking, just keep facing your true north. You're already doing it. And I see this beautiful, beautiful image of like us standing at the top, and like there's this pieces of doubt or fear coming in, just like what if I were to fall into old patterns? I'm like, honey, you've shifted into a whole other timeline already, and who you are right now is not the same as who you once were. And so there is a call to just to trust, right? To appreciate the wonder and the awe, even in this moment when it is pretty challenging, right? Not beautiful. And we're called to like really look into like, where are you being called to journey to? Where is your true north? Like really looking at what is around you. What are the resources available to you? What is presently within your nest? Do you want that little bug there? Or do you want to, or that egg that just strayed away? Is that an egg that you want to nurture and keep comfort, or to take care of? Is to really get down and real around where are you being called to journey to. When you tune into your heart, when you tune into your higher heart, that space that is between your heart and your throat chakra, what brings you joy? What is really much alive for you in this moment? And the answer might be, you may say the words, I don't know, but the answer is more obvious than that. And there's an invitation to play, to be curious, to have fun, to celebrate. And you don't have, this is a challenging process as it is, right? So how can we just have more fun and just even laugh at it? And it's funny because I did a workshop and we're labeling our summer, right? And I'm laughing because Spirit's like telling me to say it, and I'm like, I want to say it. So here, and my summer is sexy sadness summer. How do I make sadness sexy, right? Sexy to me being wild, free, unencumbered, no, just this brilliant, vibrant confidence, right? So to allow myself to feel sadness, to be confident even in my sadness, right? And that confidence is knowing like the sadness is part of the path and it's part of the journey, but it's not the destination or anything. So it's like, how can I have fun? And the reason why it turned into that name or that label is I pulled the comic archetype card, and the comic is just like, how can the comic carries this very powerful medicine of they're making light of the situation. They're able to find humor within a situation. However, like they're also able to nudge and influence people through their way of making light of situations. They're able to change the energy of the room with a simple joke, right? A joke about themselves or about something else. So it's like, in all that we are doing, right, it's already serious work as it is. Do we want to make it even more serious, or can we just play with it? Can it be your sexy sadness summer? Can you make sadness and grief? Oh, I'm chuckling so much right now. But sadness and grief being, hey, maybe there is some pleasure here too that can be unlocked. And then when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. So these are some affirmation cards that I pull from like the universe. And they're just these beautiful, gentle messages to support. And like all the cards that I have for today, they're very raw, very vulnerable, very like they carry such beautiful, gentle, nurturing, nourishing energy. So I guess my invitation for you too is to like, how can you nourish your soul a little bit more today? How have you not taken care of yourself? And it could be as simple as not staying hydrated. So how can you do that? How can you invite yourself to just take care of yourself a little bit more? And the presence of love will always cast out fear. Is that through this deep devotion, right? This turning inward, this deep devotion, this self-love, right? Someone you're having this self-love of yourself, a self-love summer, a loving summer, having a very romantic summer, a vibrant summer. And I'm just seeing right now like an image of being on the lake, and there's dragonflies flying about, and you're just with yourself, or you're with someone that you really cherish, and you're watching the sunset. So it's like romanticizing, right? There's an ease to it, while underneath all of that romanticism, there may be a lot of things going on, work, life, transitions, but in that particular moment, you're so real and raw and present and alive within where you're going through, what you're experiencing right before you. And there's this deep knowing, even if, let's say, like, I know I had a fear of like, what if I were to fall into old patterns? Well, I'm not the same. And beautiful how like my fearless freedom lights up the world. There's this beautiful, wild and free energy. And before I landed on sexy sadness summer, it was like I wanted to be the summer of being wild and free. And like I am going to own who I am, and I'm gonna be unstoppable about it. So your light is lighting up the world, and this deep devotion, this willingness to play with the depths of even the most challenging thing that you're going through, it is creating more. You are essentially inviting more of that particular energy into your life. I mean, you're inviting people who can celebrate and even be with you in those uncomfortable emotions or those uncomfortable moments. And there's instances where people, when they're not comfortable with sitting with you, they're people who haven't been comfortable with sitting with their own emotions, and to be able to witness that in somebody else, like you'd have to gone through a series to have to have only to be conscious of your own uncomfort discomfort, and then being able to witness that in somebody else. And people who have not done that, right, who are not accustomed to that, or aware of that, it may try to come up with solutions, or I'm guilty of that, try to come up with solutions, or just divert or blame or do a whole series of things. And so in this sense, right, are we being our own witness to our own discomfort? And the more that we are witnessing our discomfort, are willing to play with it, to be curious around it, to acknowledge it, the deeper and the greater our capacity to love and to feel the fullness of what this life has to offer, that grows and it expands even more. So it's happening on both ends, right? This deeper capacity to feel the discomfort, our own discomfort, is also by doing the healing on this side, if you will. It is at the same time creating that greater capacity to heal and feel on the other side, right? The depth, the light. And I recently heard too, right? The reason why, one of the reason why I feel such like the sadness and the grief is because of just how deep that love and happiness and devotion is to something, right? So it could be a variety for things for you guys too. Relationship, new jobs. I am going through so many transition right now that's happening in my life, through many ripening, new career opportunities, new life, new home, new everything, new me. So, like, with all of that's happening and shape shifting, right? How can we invite more ease to it? And I have Dianthus. Here is the divine sign you have been waiting for. And it's a beautiful card. And I love this particular deck. Unfortunately, I don't think I'd have to put sticky notes on a lot of these imageries, but it just depicts someone who is just no clothes, completely raw, vulnerable, naked to the world, like just as completely vulnerable as the day you were born, right? And this person is just looking at the stars, and there's this beautiful white jaguar. Yeah. Well, in this picture, they colored it like black and white jaguar, and they're surrounded by flowers, and it's just enjoying the light. And it's the number 9, so something is leaving, releasing. It's like this honoring, right? We can either just be like, oh, I don't want to feel it, push it away, or just react to it, and in turn, we're creating more tangles within the karmic contracts, or just more tangles that we're having to shed away later. So in a sense, it's like, all right, how can we honor the grief and honor the sadness and honor the emotions that we are presently feeling, acknowledging them, and when we tune in and ask what it wants, what it needs from us, can we honor those needs and those wants? And there's this rawness, like I can imagine just sitting there or lying there completely bare, vulnerable to the sky, as the sky is witnessing to you, as the elements are witnessing you, as everybody's witnessing you, and nobody is judging you for having your emotions. You can be crying your eyes out, and they are there, like through the whispers of the winds or the flutterings of those leaves and the flowers, like they are there with you. And I had this beautiful experience of like, there's this, I didn't know this, but around the area where I go for circles, I saw there was a great big statue in like this park that was no more than like a minute away from the place. And I just sat there and allowed my emotions to come through and just simply just feel that all I am. And I'm still feeling everything, and I know it's gonna take time, as you guys or anyone who's felt deep sadness and grief, like it takes time. And I think what it's funny is the way I'm open up the book to see more information about Dianthus, and they say if you're looking for a sign, oh, this is it. And it's a messenger. And I believe there's something happening with Mercury. Oh, I mean, we do have that new moon in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mercury is or Hermes is the messenger of the gods. So that might be of significance to you. And Hermes, or the messenger god, Dianthus, and this flower coming into our life right now is asking us to tune into our own inner voice and follow the path that feels most aligned with our true selves. And cheetahs, not jaguars, cheetahs are also a symbol of divine guidance. And if you feel uncertain about your life path, the cheetah can signify that you are about to receive much needed guidance. And in some African cultures, the cheetah is believed to be a spirit animal that represents the power of vision and inner guidance. And it is said that those who encounter a cheetah in the wild or in their dreams are being guided towards their true path of light. So there's an invitation to trust and surrender. And I think going back to like, you're already doing it, right? It's like the work, all the healing, the remembering, the chugging away, and like really working on, I don't like using the word work, but that's like the only one that it's currently coming into my field right now. It's like all the devotion that you have put into yourself, it is seen and witnessed, and now it's like there's a lot that's happening in the unseen world. And I have Peony, compassion. Compassion is always the key, and I feel like Peony came before too. In maybe my own reading, I'm not sure, but I also had the word compassion with Guang Yin come in yesterday to define my summer, and there is a gentleness, right? And I keep thinking of like this unfolding, this majestic unfolding of us, right? Instead of like, oh, let me rush through everything, let me break shells. I feel like that's going to, personally, I feel that's going to cause more harm if you're just like rushing way through. And it's like, okay, but how do I know if I'm rushing my way through? Or how do I know that I am unfolding gently? Well, to do that, to know that, right, you have to tune into your body, to tune into your body's wisdom, to tune into your nervous system, to see what is it that is, what it is telling you. And there may be like this impatience of wanting things to be different already, just wanting things to change no matter what happens. But there's also like, that's like, you have to be able to think through or see through the duality, right? There's your mind telling you like, I gotta do this, and really being discerning around whether or not it is coming from a place of like trauma and fear, or do you lean in and be curious into all the healing work that you've done, right? And you listen to your body, and your body's like, no, let us just take our time and enjoy. And summer energy, is very passionate energy too. For some reason, there's this fire energy, and at the same time, it doesn't feel like a crazy like flash fire. It feels like this slow burn, right? And it feels like this ripening. It's like allowing, and when I think of ripening, all of a sudden I just thought of like persimmon, right? The ripening of persimmon takes time, and it's the ripening of ourselves is going to take time. Like we're marinating right now, we're steeping right now, and this ripening is only going to produce even sweeter abundance and sweeter joy, or juices, just ingredients, nectars into our life. And I have some animals to support us, and I have porcupine, time for beginner's mind. And it's like, this is, they say beginner's mind, right? So a child, it makes me think of a child can go into a room and just say the most darnest thing ever, and it's just like, and they may or may even recognize like, oh, I said a bad word, or they're like, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, but hey, I just heard it from somebody else, so I'm gonna say it because I have no idea. And it's just like complete innocence. Like there's this play, right? There's this, okay, I'm feeling a lot of our inner child coming through, like, inviting them to come in with us. And I think part of that too, part of like for me acknowledging my sadness and my grief is that there's triggers behind that, right? Triggers that are coming from childhood that are reflected in my current circumstances. And it's understanding what they are and what they are telling me, right? So it's being able to be curious about them, to have a beginner's mindset, right? As you're just like the fool on a new journey, like they just trust. And, they just trust the environment and trust the unseen, trust God, trust the divine. And they're approaching things in a new mentality, being able to allow yourself to be curious around what is it that you're feeling and where is it that you want. And we have Coyote Spirit here with trusting in divine detours. So I think it kind of going back to my story about how, like, I thought that nesting was like rainbows and sunshine, but then all of a sudden, like a situation happened, and I was like I got really frustrated. I'm like, I'm about to go nest. How come like this situation happened? And then, but another teacher of mine, Olivia from Luminous Presence Art, was like, part of nesting too is to be able to enforce boundaries. And like this situation coming up is not like some random occurrence, right? It's complete divine orchestration. And in some ways, it's like a little detour, right? To be able to dig into a little deeper, maybe even provide more clarity about where is it that I want to go. And then it's trusting in these circumstances, right? It may not be like, you're not enjoying, you're like, well, I don't want to enjoy that, Sally, or I don't want to enjoy that space. I don't want to, I don't want to deal with that. But it's like, but the divine's coming in and it's like, no, it's actually from the bigger scheme or what we're seeing. We're standing up here and we're looking down and seeing your entire life unfold. And it's like, this is happening for a reason. But can you, it's like having to learn a lesson. And I guess that ties into Saturnian energy, right? You're going to keep learning the lesson that you need to learn until you learn it, right? And so it means it's going to keep coming up. It's the same thing like when we're dating and we're dating the same like type, almost like same type of men or guys, and they just carry the same frequency. You're like, why does this keep happening? It's like a lesson the lesson to learn and to trust in these encounters. So it's like a moment it's going to happen, right? Where you're like, poof, epiphany. Why do I keep doing this? Like, why do I keep going for the same type of guy or same situation when they never provided the trust before and support before? And it's time to take a leap of faith. I have grasshopper spirit here. It's like time to take a leap of faith. Maybe something that you have resistance about doing, the ending, beginning of relationships, the ending, beginning of jobs or careers or just different life moments, even within the current dynamics, right? The beginning and end of like saying no more to having loose boundaries and willing to stand up for yourself. It is now, it's like take a leap of faith and you can trust in the network that you've created. Lightness. May the light lift you to the surface. And I have these last few oracle cards here are like they're ocean cards, so they're super, super gentle, and it's like this beautiful lightness. Like, may the light lift you up and to the surface, and it's this very gentle, calm ocean, this very peaceful, and I just feel the deep urge to just want to float. If you ever been in the waters or in the ocean, but have you had those moments where you're just, it's you, it's the water, it's the element, it's the sky above, the water below, and you're just floated and the immense peace that washes over you. And I just feel like this, let the weight, it's like letting go of surrendering things that you just can't control and give it to the earth, give it to the water, and just how can you invite a more levity to what you're going through that's already so challenging. Reflect. May you discern and distill. All right, so through all that's happening, it's being able to discern what is aligned to you and what's not aligned to you, and being able to filter out. So distilling, right, is being able to filter out and I feel like I get like nectars come, the word nectars come into mind. It's like this purification process, like this discern and distill into to create something very pure, very beautiful, very joyful, very sweet. Yeah, I'm having a sweet taste. So like something very sweet is coming out of all of this. But to do that, right, to be able to build something with such integrity, with such beautiful flavor, and right, you know how the time like it takes for like wine to be created, or like certain whiskey, or just drinks that people end up drinking and really enjoying. Like there's an art to it, a craft to it. And even just with any craft, that's aside, still just made me think of distillery. But like that's to say, like with all other craft too, is like when you get to go to a person, like any type of services, right, and they provide you, think of like the best type of service that you have, like a really nice experience, and usually is with people and places where the intentions are so clear and that you can feel the intention of them going through, from at the moment you walk through the door until the moment that you leave, and even after. So being able to look back at these moments and see like, okay, what resonates with me and what doesn't resonate with me, what aligns with me, what doesn't align with me, and be able to make those choices, right? And it's the same thing as nesting. You have to be very discerning about exactly what is it that you want within your safe space. Like entering a phase where like, you recognize that this life is so rich, and if death was like right next to you right now, like what is it that how do you want to live your life in a way that feels most alive? And taking a moment to look into that. And beauty, may you perceive nature's artistry afresh. May we look at experience with newfound eyes. May we even look at the things that we've shied away, such as sadness and grief, such as these emotions that we are holding back. Can we look at them with more tenderness, with more love and awe and beauty? And then I'm looking at the cards I have before me, and I see just like this beautiful array of like this pinkish color, pink, blue, gentle, like purple, and some greens. They're just very gentle colors. And there's like a champagne, right, to celebrate the beauty of all that is, and to imagine, right, to allow yourself, and to help with perceiving and reflecting and discerning, is to imagine, to truly close your eyes and feel yourself already achieving what is it that you want. Like for example, like before you buy a new car, right, you don't just go out. I mean, I'm sure some people do this, but you don't just go out and be like, I just get a card. Sometimes you have to, you're like, oh, I'm between like 3 or 4 of these different cards. I don't know which one, but I like each of them. And you have to sit, right? Yeah. And even that part of that could be like sitting at home and imagining like, how does it feel to get a Jeep Wrangler? That's the card that I want right now. How do I feel to get like a Jeep Wrangler? Or how do I feel if I were to get a Honda Accord? Like just really feel it into like what, imagining how that would feel. And the same goes with any intentions. The same goes with manifestation, right? Is to feel deeply into what is it that we truly desire and want, but allowing that feeling to deepen in a way where you feel the fullness of it, of the what can be of it. So to allow yourself to imagine, this goes back very beautifully to beginner's mind, right? When you're starting afresh, when you look at new things, like go into a museum and looking at the array of artwork, or a new museum, it's just like this, you're filled with this awe and this wonder, right? I can go anywhere within this museum. Maybe just letting spirit guide me, like from one museum to the other, or one part of the museum to the other, and let me just see where life can take me, and imagine how that can unfold before me. So how can you invite more of that? Well, let's see if there's any other oracle messages coming through before I pull out the tarot. And again, too, like, I would love to take pictures of this, but I don't know how I'm gonna, like, how I would take a picture of this when there's certain cards that I feel like would not vibe with with community guidelines. Let's see. But if you guys are interested in the tarot cards, I can link them below, and the oracle cards that I use. I do want to get better at that too, just linking in all the resources and material that I use to support. And I have the High Priestess, and right here, the High Priestess came out, and she is reading a book, right? Being by herself, leaning into herself, and she's just her and a good book. And it goes into like this very, like, moments that are very pleasurable for you, moments that inspire you to just feel the fullness of your emotions, right? I have 10 of Cups in reverse. So being able to feel, like, even through, there's a lot of disturbances, emotional dissatisfaction, emotional I think sadness. Yeah. If I feel, there's sadness around what's happening. I think it's something that's happening within the family structure. There's disharmony and just things related to the heart. I think in general, there's just this dissociation, this disconnected from the people that are around us, the feeling, like, the lack of support. And I think part of this is imagining what your dream relationship is, right? Imagining what, and I say beauty and imagination is like they're falling right. The 10 of Cups is right on those cards. Like, what if you were to close your eyes and imagine like the type of relationship that is fulfilling to you? What would that be? And I think for some of you, there's this fear of taking the leap, right? Of going forward. And I say that because the Fool came in reversed. And it's like there's this journey ahead of you. And you know that there's this journey ahead of you. But there's this fear or this doubt of what can be. Maybe it's even a doubt of like, what if I were to turn back into old ways? Or that... yeah, or I am about to take this leap because I don't give a crap. I don't know if I should say that, but I don't give an F around what is it that are the circumstances or the reactions. And part of the Fool too is like it ties into the discernment too. Instead of, are we making these actions? Are we saying these things out of like a sovereign place or out of a wounded place? A sovereign place is through reflection and discernment, and through in this deep introspection, this deep tune it into your deep knowing, and then being able to move forward with whatever it is that you are deciding or fearing to do, right? Or are you making a choice out of a wounded space, meaning you are reacting due to trauma? You are just like, you're just like, F it, I don't anymore, but you're going it from like an F it that, and you're like, I'm ready to blow up things. And so I can go into like this whole like about the duality, and in this instance right now, it's just to take time to imagine truly what is the life that you desire. Truly imagine even the ending, right? The ending of what you're going through. And 11:44 on my clock right now. So like truly this is foundational, right? What is manifesting right now, there's something very foundational about this too, is to discern exactly imagine how you want this to end, or even imagine how you want this to begin. And and feel into that and allow it to ripen within your presence, within your body. Yeah, let's see. Let's do... Okay. 7 of Swords in reverse. It popped out and flipped all over. 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords. I know you're tired. You're tired from having to have the same conversations. Tired of having to go through the same mental gymnastic is what come to mind. Like the mental verbiage gymnastic. And it's thinking of the best way to say this is what we had tried to do so much in our own way, in the way that we knew best. It's not working, and it's producing the same I think in some ways it's giving this feeling of like the fear of making a mistake, so we don't take any action at all, or worry that if we were to go this way, this person's going to react the opposite way, being very impulsive, taking actions that do not have, they're just not grounded. They're not from a foundational space. They're not from a deep knowing space. They're not from a sovereign space. So this is just a reiteration with the Fool card too. It is like being conscientious. And it's interesting because out of all the tarot cards that I pull, right, the High Priestess is the only one in the upright position. All the other cards are in the reverse position. And the High Priestess is all about diving into her knowing, right? Into your deep knowing, your intuition, and being grounded within that. So again, like making decisions, either mental decision, emotional decisions, all of these, whatever it might be. But allow these decisions to come from a sovereign space. And when you do that, right, when you do make decisions from a sovereign space, you're going to experience a lot more levity, more joy, more clarity. This clarity that comes just like from the eyes of a child, whether it's there's this clarity about where is it that you want, with new ideas, and even like an option that you didn't even realize you could have been an option to begin with. Maybe even not realizing that this person's going to react differently from what you had expected. Maybe it's just something you don't even see right now, but either way, it's like allowing yourself to marinate within yourself so that you can then make a decision from a space that is, again, sovereign. So, okay, just taking a moment to see. Yeah. So those are all the messages that I have for you today. I hope that this message reaches out to one of you guys out there. And if it resonates with your field and you feel called to do so, I invite you to subscribe, like, share, even share your stories, and know that you can share your story to the most detailed and extensive ways that you want it to be, or if you want it to just high level, or even none at all, that's totally fine. That is more than fine. That is more than enough. And I thank you for being here. Thank you for being with me. And I love you so dearly. And I send you all my love, my light, and I send you an invitation to connect deeply within your own light as well. I will be offering, if you're interested in meeting face-to-face, meaning on like virtual Zoom, we have this full moon in Capricorn coming up, the strawberry moon, and there's a free gathering available. The links are below in my bio. So if you're interested, I hope to see you there. And I'm also looking very forward to offering different sacred soul connections, soul offerings. So be on the lookout for that. Sign up for my newsletter if that is something that feels aligned to you. And that's all. Thank you to our guys. Thank you to you. Thank you to us. Thank you to all that is. Thank you to the unseen and seen world. And until next time, my love, it's only the beginning. I love you. Bye, guys.